Good evening. My name is Clive Jonson. I'm an interfaith minister from the UK. I always say London because people don't know where Leigh-on-Sea is. It's 30 miles east of London. But I'm actually a nomad. I travel around, and as you may know if you've actually read information about tonight, I'm on a very big tour at the moment, all the way around the US, all of the border states. And this is a project that I've called Labyrinth Around America. It came to me, this idea, last year when I was in Houston, Texas, at a gathering of people who are fanatical about labyrinths. And I was actually there to take part in a training course on how to facilitate a labyrinth walk. And I met all sorts of wonderful, inspiring people who are doing some amazing work with labyrinths. And it was the time of the US presidential election back in early November. And when I came into the training course the day after the election, most people were feeling very surprised, unsettled, unsure. Some people were in shock. Quite possibly some were happy, for all I know. But it seemed to me that it was a strange time. There was quite a strange mood at that time. And the idea came to me that the labyrinth is a wonderful tool, if you like, that can be offered to folk to come together. It's been used, for example, in South Africa, in the Truth and Reconciliation process. It's used on a one-to-one basis, perhaps couples going through marital difficulties. And it doesn't ask any questions about your politics, your religion, what you believe, where you come from. It accepts everyone, and indeed everybody. We even had dogs walking this labyrinth as equals. And that idea really grew, and it's an idea which is actually, when I started to think about it, quite mad. How on earth could I afford this? Not only just in terms of how much it would cost to go travelling around 33 border states, but how much time would it take? But a feeling grew with it, and I'm being led on this journey as much by feeling as by logic. And sometimes I'm finding that I'm being sent back in an opposite direction. It feels right to go back, or there's a door opening, or someone picking up the phone asking me to visit somewhere. Sometimes I'm not even going to towns or villages. I'm out in the country, which is a surprise to me, because I thought this was all about connecting communities and people, and offering an opportunity for people to come together and walk this. Which it is, but I think it's having a bigger effect. There's something bigger going on that I don't fully understand with this. And ultimately, when this big circle is completed, I like to think that it will have spread some positive energy and maybe brought a little bit of healing. And already I'm finding that there are quite a lot of wonderful stories that people are sharing. Particularly those that have found the labyrinth for the first time. The labyrinth is, at its most basic level, a path. A single path, unlike a maze. A maze has, we went to one today actually, up in, further upstate in Vermont. Path of Life garden as a maze. And I was quite pleased I actually managed to get through it quite quickly. But normally that might not be the case. You get lost, there's deliberate dead ends, blind alleys to catch you out. A labyrinth doesn't have that problem. All you have to do is follow a path, and you will come to the centre eventually. It's more than a path, and it's actually very difficult to put into words what it is. There's something very mysterious about walking this. Most people like to meditate, or to reflect, or to take a question with them as they come into the labyrinth. I like to think that there's a special space. There's someone with an interfaith interest. I call it a sacred space, but that's obviously a term that is not necessarily meaningful to everybody. At least it's a place that's separate from the outside world. And it expects nothing more from you than you just take one step and then put the other one in front of that and just keep walking slowly, at a pace if you want to, and just breathe. So it doesn't matter if you're walking the labyrinth for the first time or the 1000th time. What it offers is the same. There's no special experience needed. This particular labyrinth is what's often called the Baltic style, or sometimes the goddess labyrinth pattern. There are a number of different common patterns for the way the path is mapped out. It's known as the Baltic by some people because there are a lot of labyrinths, stone labyrinths around the coastline of Scandinavia, hundreds of them actually, that follow this particular pattern. And like many things about the labyrinth, why they exist is actually a mystery. But it's thought that they were places where the folk from the villages would come together to ask for, to pray for protection for the fisher folk who were going out on dangerous missions, fishing missions. And possibly also to give thanks for the catch when they returned, and to pray for them when they were gone. We don't know. Labyrinths are found all over the world, in many different cultures. We find them in Native American culture, in Hindu culture, way, 1,000 years or more before the Christian labyrinth started appearing. In Buddhist culture, in Jain, and in many non-religious settings too. So you'll find them in hospitals. Next week I'm going into a prison where they have a labyrinth. In hospices, in care homes, in corporations even. And of course you find them in places of worship as well. Perhaps some of the best known are in churches and cathedrals. There's a particularly well-known one in Chartres Cathedral in France, which was walked, I believe it was walked by pilgrims who couldn't make the journey to Jerusalem, although there are some other theories about how that particular labyrinth was used as well. That particular labyrinth dates back to the 12th century, so they have a long history. So, just a few points of logistics. There really aren't any rules about how to walk the labyrinth, what to do. The only two things that I would ask are, please respect the labyrinth itself, which really means if you have muddy boots, please, if you can, take them off. Otherwise, you're very welcome to walk in shoes. Take your shoes off if you want to as well, whatever feels comfortable. But this is going on a long journey, and while I fully expected to get a few marks, and actually quite like that in a way, because everybody's adding their own prints to it, their own energy to it. I have noticed a brand new crease that's appeared, because I tried, last time this was out, it was a couple of days ago in quite bad wind, and I was putting it away alone, and that was a tricky task, I have to say. But we'll sort that one out later. And respect other people walking, which means, generally speaking, don't try and engage them in conversation. If you have a mobile phone, please switch it off if you can. People are going to be walking at different speeds, probably, and just walk at whatever pace feels right for you. If you have to pass by somebody else, just very quietly just step to one side and move past them. When you come to the middle, this lovely great centre here, And what I love about this labyrinth, you'll find probably your own meaning of it, but it's, apart from this idea of goddess, it's sometimes described as a tree, if you're looking at it from the bottom. You can imagine roots going into the ground. Or this great embrace, if you like, a goddess's embrace when you get to the middle. So often after walking, people say that they feel a lot of peace by the time they come to the middle. And feel free just to stay here for a while, to sit down, to kneel, to stand, whatever feels right. Singing, dancing, but in the main just being quiet with your own thoughts. And when you're ready to leave, there's actually two paths in this particular labyrinth. So I will stand, or Sadell, who's hosting with me, one of us will be standing close by the entrance, which is on this side. Yes, the left side as you come in. And as we're starting, I will just invite you at a particular point to walk if there's a bit of a queue of people. But take your time. Don't actually feel you have to rush up right away. When it feels right, just come forward and walk at whatever pace feels right. Take whatever time you want in the middle. And then there's actually a separate exit, this very short exit that comes out. If you happen to go back the other way, it really doesn't matter. One of the descriptions for a labyrinth is, you often hear, is it's a metaphor for life. In other words, you're not quite sure who you'll meet on the path, what might happen, what might experiences. So sometimes other labyrinths actually do involve tracing the path back that you've come in. So that doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. I did have a little girl the other day who took 3 attempts to find the middle and seemed to get lost, which was a real first, but I think she was the only one so far that hasn't. And she did get on the next attempt, I'm pleased to say. If you have to go afterwards, when you finish the walk, then please just leave quietly. There's a few information sheets at the back with information about this project. So I'm blogging if you're into social media, you can follow the route. But also on the website there is a page that I put together with links to YouTube videos, different books, podcasts, things you can download, all sorts of quite often free resources available. And in particular, the organisation that was holding this gathering that I was mentioning back in Houston last year, called the Labyrinth Society, has some wonderful resources, including something called the 365 experience. So every day you can go online and there's some interaction there. But if you want to find out more about labyrinths, and they don't all have to be giant ones like this painted on canvas, there's a beautiful, what's called a finger labyrinth here, which you're also very welcome to walk. In this case, you walk with one of your fingers. I like to close my eyes when I'm doing that. This is kind of a laptop version. This is a very important part of this project as well. It's actually really got an energy all of its own, and it's making the same journey. And I found, personally, I love walking this, but if you have particular physical difficulty walking, this is another great alternative. And online there are paper labyrinths, examples of how to make labyrinths out of stones, surveyors' flags, plastic tape, all manner of things. And Sadell, who I'm very privileged to have as a host, is a wonderful artist in this field as well. And we've got some of your lists there, so you can see some of Sadell's wonderful creativity with labyrinth art as well, online. I've probably forgotten something, but the crucial thing is we start the walk. And what I like to suggest is that we just take literally a minute to arrive. Sorry, there were a couple of logistical things I mentioned. There is a comments book. If you do have any comments, you just want to write a word or your name when you abort the labyrinth, that's wonderful. That's very good to have. This is a free event, but I always do leave a little basket in the background just in case you do feel sudden inspiration to offer anything towards it, which will go towards the cost of the labyrinth itself and certain costs associated with things like storage. It's not my cost. That's there as well. And we also have over there some cards. Labyrinth. We might put them here. Some people like to pick up a card as they go into the labyrinth. It might have a word or a phrase on it, something that you might like to reflect upon. As I mentioned earlier, you might have a question that's on your mind as well that you want to take into the labyrinth. And when you get to the middle, sometimes just waiting and seeing if some inspiration, some ideas come is very helpful. And then you can sort of take that with you as you go out and perhaps give some thanks for it. So Del, have I forgotten anything, do you think? We're both going to be holding the entrance, and at times we'll be walking around the outside. When we do start to run out of time, we will start to ring the chimes there, the bells, and we're also going to have some lovely music going on in the background. I should say, which I nearly did forget, is that we have some lovely folk from Brattleboro Community TV here. They're very much in the background, and is going to be really from above, as it were, but we're doing a little bit of filming. If you really have problems with appearing, as it were, I don't think there's going to be too many close-ups, but if you are worried about that, then just let us know and we'll make sure that's passed on and they will do what they can to blur out or edit out and so on. But don't worry about that, that's all happening in the background. But otherwise, I suggest we start. And let's just take a moment to be silent, perhaps to notice the way that your feet are in connection with the ground, to feel that connection with this great Mother Earth below us. And as best you can, to set aside any of the worries that have come into your mind today, and just to enjoy being here right now. I'm going to ring the bell to open up the labyrinth. And when you're ready, just come forward and I'll welcome you to walk. May all beings dwell in the heart. May all know their wholeness. May all beings be free from suffering. May all be healed. May all be happy. May all beings be at peace. Thank you. If you came a little bit after the start and had noticed, there is a comment book. If you do want to put any comments, any word that comes to mind. I should have said earlier that if you're still in a reflective mode and you want to capture anything, there's also some paper sheets over there and pens if you want to make a note to yourself, journal, drawing, whatever it is, then feel free to take some time to do that as well. I don't think we have to rush away immediately, so enjoy the quiet and the space. So thank you for coming.